So we're going to get into this lesson, sisters and brothers. You know, we have this every year, five-part series of black history told by the prophets. And I've said over and over again, I do not like the month black history because everybody got a history. You understand? But being they designated it to us, I just said, well, I'm going to put our real history on the table. Because everybody have a history, everybody have a past. And I was not one to be sold, and my history started the day I stepped off a slave ship. But we're going to deal with this part, this part here, black history told by the prophets, part 2, slavery. Slavery. You know, a lot of my brothers, sisters, and brothers take issue, you know, with what has happened to us. I don't like what's happened to us here in America, but I'm going to show you that since I had to be a slave, I am so glad that I was dropped off here. And when I get through, you're going to be so glad too. Because I'm going to be real honest with you, sisters and brothers. Them sons of Ham, which the world called Africa, they haven't been very nice to us. And it's still going on. But the big thing I want to show you, this is really not so much, some of them might have been a little overzealous in doing what they're doing, but what happened to us is from our God, sisters and brothers. This is one of the arguments I've been mad with my Hebrew brothers over 40 years. Why are you mad at other people? You should be mad at our forefathers. They brought this on us. And we're going to show you today. Because if God says it's going to happen, somebody got to do it. It's all that simple. And if God says he's going to do something to you, you cannot escape it. It's all that simple. So we're going to start this in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. Because the last time I had a meeting with some of my brothers, it always gets a little tested when I have, and I stopped going to the Hebrew Israelite meeting because it always get a little tested, because I cannot be a part of anything that's fabricated just to make you feel good. I have to deal with reality the way it is. Well, the blame is I lay it there. If you don't like it, then you can take that issue up with God. But I'm going to read this book. So we're going to deal with this because I have a whole lot of information to dispense today. And I can't do a whole lot of talking, but I want to put it out there. And I have to struggle to throw stuff out because I do a lot of research, sisters and brothers. And when I tell you something, you can bet your money, you can go into history and find it. You can go, it's written somewhere. Because I don't have no personal thing. See, being an Israelite is nothing important to me. Being God, that's what I want to be. And that's what I'm pushing for, becoming God. But I deal with these things on the way there because I'm compelled to deal with them because of what's happening in the world. Now we're going to start this at Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Once the Lord got us out of Egypt, our original captives, sisters and brothers, and took us into the wilderness, then he laid the law down. He told us what he was going to do for us if we did the right thing and what he's going to do to us if we did the wrong thing. And we're going to let the Bible tell you who is guilty. Let's start at verse 1, Deuteronomy 28 chapter and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now he said that. You understand? But that's what a condition, sisters and brothers. Your brothers run around and say, yeah, we're above everybody. No, you ain't. Let's face you reality. Everybody around us, we're looking up to. We ain't looking down to nobody. Because he said, if you do what I tell you and keep all of my commandments, which I command you this day, then you will be above all of the nations of the earth. We didn't do it, but go ahead.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body,
Go ahead.
and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Look, he's telling you no matter where you are, you're going to be blessed. If you're in the city, in the field, Your children are going to be blessed. If you raise animals, you plant crops, everything is going to be blessed. Go ahead and read.
Skip to verse 10.
Skip down to verse 10 and go ahead.
And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee.
Now, the name of the Lord is Israel, sisters and brothers, because the Lord stopped Jacob and adopted him and gave him his name. So they're going to be afraid of you. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure.
Go ahead.
The heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
Now look what he said, go open up his good pleasure. He's going to make us the financiers of all the nations. We're going to loan. We were going to be the one that making the national loan and the house loans, and for everybody was going to come to us. And we was going to be the one that's on top. All we had to do was do what the Lord said. That don't mean we're going to enslave people. That means that we, instead of going and saying us borrowing, we would be the lender.
That's right.
What verse is that?
We have verse 13.
Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath.
That's a big statement, ain't it? You shall be the head and not the tail, but you shall be above only. That is one vaunted position to be in. No matter what we're involved in, we are the head of it.
That's right.
All we had to do was obey the Lord. Skip down to verse 15 and go ahead.
But it shall come to pass.
Now this is the other shoe now that he's going to drop. Go ahead and read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, go ahead and read.
To observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
He let you know wherever you are now, if you don't do what I say, you're going to be cursed. In the city, wherever you find yourself, go ahead and read.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body,
go ahead.
And the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Look, your crops, your whatever flock you have, and your children, he said, going to be cursed. That's the fruit of your body, sisters and brothers. The Lord is putting it on the table. This is before we even got to the promised land. We was in the wilderness. Skip down to verse 25 and go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth.
So we're going to go out against our enemies. We're going to be scattered, and then we shall be removed in our kingdom. Not migrate. Removed. That means somebody's going to take you somewhere else. How many? Into all the kingdoms of the earth. No matter what kingdom on this planet, some of us are there, and I guarantee you, we are at the bottom of the totem pole. And I'm going to show you that, sisters and brothers. Skip down to verse 36 and go ahead.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
So he's going to bring us to a nation. Whatever nation we find ourselves in, we're going to serve whatever gods that nation put yourself in. You understand? Even like some of the people in Timbuktu. You understand when the Arabians was running it before the French come in and pushed them out? They had the Israelites in Timbuktu. It's written right on that sign up there that we are Hebrew Israelite, but our religion is Islam.
That's right.
He said, whatever nation you find yourself in. What verse are we?
We have verse 37.
Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
You know, sisters and brothers, astonished, a proverb and a byword. This is something for people that scorn and don't nobody want to be around. Always put little pet names on you. Wherever you go, you got a name. And people are always astounded at, boy, these people here, how did they get to where they are? And bywords are all them little names which I can't name. Think about it, sisters and brothers. Wherever you go, it don't matter. What verse was that?
We just finished 37.
Finish it. So skip down to verse 41 and go ahead.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Go ahead.
For they shall go into captivity.
You're going to have children, you're not going to enjoy them because they're going to go into slavery. Skip down to verse 41, to verse 43, rather, and go ahead.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
Look, when Israel came out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude. People out of every nation. Because Egypt was a great civilization. It was a mixed multitude. So he's saying that stranger, he didn't name no particular people. Just said whoever these people around you, they're going to come up very high and you're going to come down very low. In other words, all of your merchants and your salesmen and your suppliers are going to look like somebody else, not you. Now, you look around in your neighborhood and see what I'm talking about. Who do you buy your home from? Who do you buy your cars from? Who do you buy your groceries from?
That's right.
Who making the wigs for the sisters? Where is your jewelry store? Think about it. The strangers that's among you, that's going to come up very high, and you going to come down very low. What verse is that?
We have 44.
Go ahead and read.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Go ahead.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
He shall be the head. Now tell me, see, it didn't name nobody. It's just all of these people around you that come out with you because your God took Egypt down. All of these people are going to be above you. That's a big statement, sisters and brothers, to a people that's supposed to have been on the top only.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Now, I mean, no matter where you go or where you flee to, the curse is going to come in. Go ahead and read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
He said, because you will not listen. So that means when you come in, everybody else wants to leave. They don't even know why I got to get out. I don't want to be around these people. Because when you come in, these curses walk right on in behind you.
That's right.
No escaping. You are going to have to deal with this until the time appointed, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
For a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Wonder why that happened, but it shall be a sign. What does a sign do, sisters and brothers? It identifies. Like I had a brother tell me one time, well, how do you know that we are the Hebrew Israelites? I said, pick whoever it was in this whole hemisphere that was brought here as slaves, you just found the Israelites. It's nothing to debate. Well, people say, well, you got American Indians, and then you got the Puerto Ricans, and you have the Mexicans. I said, did they come here slaves? No. I said, then they are not a part of the sign. If God going to let everybody be something and don't give a sign, then how do we know who is who? It's just that simple, sisters and brothers. If it's going to be a sign identifies. If the sign can't identify, then it ain't no good, is it? Go ahead and read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Now listen, because you will not serve the Lord your God with joy of heart and gladness, you're going to serve your enemies. Go ahead.
In hunger.
In hunger.
And in thirst.
In thirst.
And in nakedness.
In nakedness.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. You still going to do it. You're going to work all week. You got to decide sometime whether you're going to buy groceries or pay the rent.
That's right. That's right.
You tired and you have labored, and at the end of the day, you broke. But you know what? You're going to go back and do it again. And you know why? Because you're desperate and your God put you in this position. Nobody else. This is what I want you to understand. Go ahead and read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Go ahead.
Let's skip down to 64.
Let's skip down what? Verse 64?
64.
Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Now, verse 64, the Lord going to scatter you among all people from one end of the earth to the other. Go ahead and read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods,
Go ahead.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
We don't know the gods of Eastern, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
We don't know the God of Christmas. We don't know the God of Sunday. We know the God of the Sabbath day. We know the God of the Passover, unleavened bread, Pentecost, Tabernacle. That's the God we know. We never heard about this stuff that we come over here. All Saints Day, which is called Hallowed, used to be Hallowed Eve, now it become Halloween with ghosts and goblins. We didn't know them kind of gods. Go ahead and read.
And among these nations shalt thou find no Eve.
You ain't going to find no Eve wherever you are. They're always going to be smiting against you. Go ahead and read.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
Look, you ain't going to have no rest and you're going to be scared all the time. You are most likely to get killed. And I'm going to show you, not here in America only. We're going to show you something, sister and brother. Go ahead and read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
I mean, it don't matter. Got babies in the house. Somebody drive by, shoot through the wall and kill a baby. Shoot in a car and kill a baby. It had nothing to do. It just happened. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Go ahead.
In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were evening. And at evening thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
So you're going to be afraid in the daytime and afraid at night. You're always fearing something. But this is the big thing here. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now, this is not talking about Egypt, the nation, because Egypt to us is a house of bondage.
That's right.
Remember, the Lord is going to take us all over. See, look, you can all over, and don't take ships to go from Israel to Egypt. The only reason he went that way because the Lord knew that we're going to run into the Philistines and know Israel didn't have no stomach to fight. So it took us by way of the Red Sea. However, this again is Egypt to us. It's going to take us into bondage again by ships. And what's going to happen when we get there? Go ahead and read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Go ahead.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
See, Hosea 11:5 told you that he ain't going to take you into Egypt no more as a people. So, but what this Egypt you're talking about is captivity. You're going to go there by ships. I don't know if we had a picture of the ships, how they brought us over here. Do we have a picture of it? We got a sign over here because I want to show you how that you didn't come over here on no luxury liner, sister and brother.
No cruise line.
If we can't put it, now, all these, see that ship, them bodies laying in there. Could you show me how they stacked them up? See that? Feet, head, feet, head, feet, head. That's the way we arrived here. The people, I guess the people at the bottom really got a problem. Because if you had to urinate or whatever you had to do, you did it. You can't hold it. But think about it. This is the way we was brought here. And once we got here, we were sold as male and female slaves. But all of this was written, sisters and brothers, before we got to the promised land. So that was the curses and the blessing that we read. Now let's see which one we came under. We already know, but still we're going to see it anyway. Let's go into Daniel, the 9th chapter. Daniel chapter 9. See, sisters and brothers, it's a matter of reality. We deal with reality here. It is what it is. We were supposed to be something. We were supposed to be the people that introduced all the rest of the people to God. We refused to do it. In fact, we refused to keep God's commandments, and he hurt us. But he had Moses tell us that and had him to write it for his time and for the future. Now let's see what happened. Daniel chapter 9, and let's start reading at verse 9. 9 and 9. Read it.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him.
And we have rebelled against him. Skip down to verse 10, verse 11 and go ahead.
Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
How many?
All Israel.
Go ahead.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Oh, so now the curse is poured upon us. Go ahead and read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
We just read it in the law of Moses in Deuteronomy, didn't we? says been poured upon us. Go ahead and read.
And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil.
Now, I mean, a great evil. He's confirmed his word that he has judged us. By bringing upon us a great evil. Go ahead and read.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem.
Now, all you got to do is look under all the nations. Who is it that's had the thing happen to us as it happened, happened to them as it happened to us? Well, you just look in this hemisphere. Everybody migrated here to enhance their own well-being, but we was brought here to enhance somebody else's well-being. Nobody else can do this. That's why Daniel said, under the whole heaven, they have not been done to a people which have been done to us. Not this kind of evil, but who brought the evil upon you? Your God. This is what people don't understand. People say, well, God don't do evil. God created evil. But when he bring evil on you, just because you deserve it. And it's not to destroy you altogether, it is to correct you. Now let's go into Isaiah, the 5th chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse 11. Isaiah chapter 5. Because sisters and brothers, the Lord want us to know this, and I'll be trying to get my brothers to listen to this. So you won't be running around disliking other people, spewing vitriol and hatred. Because if you don't stop it, the Lord says he's going to take you back, then we're going to take us by way of the wilderness. You ain't going to get out of the wilderness. Isaiah 5, and we're going to start reading at verse 11. Isaiah 5 and 11. Because now what had happened is all we're about is shaking it up and shaking it down. Partying, having a good time. Even when we go to church, we shake it up and shake it down. The music going, boom, don't nobody learn nothing. Don't read no book. Everybody gets happy and shouting and falling over chairs for what? That's why when I said earlier, when I said good news, y'all start to clap. Wait, let me give you the good news first. If you ain't got nothing to be happy about, why are you displaying happiness? Verse 11, go ahead and read.
Woe to them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night to wine inflame them.
Go ahead.
And the harp and the viol and the tabret and the pipe and wine are in their feasts. But they regard not the work of the Lord.
So they're having a good time. Hey, everything's going on. We got all kind of performers. We have all kind of what they call gales, whatever it is, dancing and partying and banquet hall. But don't nobody think about God, sisters and brothers. And look what he said here. Go ahead and read.
Neither consider the operation of his hand.
Don't even consider the operation of his hand. Ain't nobody paying no attention to what's going on in Western Europe, what the EU is doing. Nobody's paying any attention that Gog and Magog is getting their house in order in Russia. Nobody paying no attention. Nobody paid any attention about the 10 toes and the 10 horns that the Lord said going to run Western Europe are in place. Ain't nobody paying that attention. All the prayers are on the table. And the Lord said, in the days of these 10 nations that we're looking at, the God of heaven going to set up a kingdom. You don't even know that this thing is almost over with. You know why? Because you don't read the book. And I know it's close, sisters and brothers, because when the Lord called me to write that book, The Four Winds of Heaven, I followed prophecy nation by nation in their time right down to the last day. And it's all in order. Medo-Persians didn't come before the Babylonians. The Babylonians didn't come after the Greeks.
That's right.
They all come the way God called them. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. And Rome was supposed to fall and rise 10 times. And the 10th resurrection is making its way now. Ain't nobody paying no attention. That's God's hand. What we doing, we partying, we having a good time. And look what the Lord said about that. Go ahead and read.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity.
Because they have no knowledge.
Because they have no knowledge. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's been, what is, and what is to come. You're totally ignorant of that. You're too busy having a good time. And because of that, what he said, go ahead.
And their honorable men are famished. And their multitude dried up with thirst.
And the people that's supposed to be The leaders and the thinkers, he said, they're famished. Famished from what? From knowledge. They dried up. Your leaders are uninformed. If they don't know nothing, how can they lead you somewhere? That's what the Lord said. This is what happened to my people. And the Lord loved his people. Let me show you a love story that God had with his people. Let's go into 14. Now read 14 first. Verse 14. Go ahead and read.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself.
And opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
So what is hell? When you think hell, you think Satan with a pitchfork and fire. Sisters and brothers, hell is a state of condition. You've been misled there. Said hell have enlarged yourself. It's hell, sisters and brothers, when you're working, you're broke. You're tired and you can't chauffeur. You got to hide your car from the repo man. Somebody always sending you eviction notices. Somebody call you and tell you your son or your daughter's in jail or dead. That's hell, sisters and brothers. And it have enlarged itself. And we have danced on into it good time. We got to the point where I don't care what it is, I'm going to have me a good time tonight. Yeah, but you still got to face hell tomorrow. But that's the mindset we've had. And let me show you, sisters and brothers, that the Lord had this love story with his people. And because the people don't understand, they think this is something between Solomon and one of his strange women. Let's go into the Songs of Solomon, because I want to go and show you something here. The Songs of Solomon. And we're going to start reading at the verse 1. Because all of this tell you why that the Lord have abandoned his people for the time being. Then we pray we do everything. But until this curse is up, sisters and brothers, some of us, if we do right, we might excel. But as a whole, ain't nothing going on. Well, you know, we are better, are we? We at the 50-yard line. Yeah, but the people that was at the 50 is on the 100-yard line now. So where's the advancement? We get off into self-deception. Songs of Solomon, verse 1. This is the Songs of Solomon, and Solomon wrote this, but we're going to show you that God is the one that dictates everything. Because we're going to show you a love story. This is between Jesus, before he became Jesus, and his people. And we're going to show you that. Verse 1. Go ahead and read.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth.
Go ahead.
For thy love is better than wine.
Go ahead.
Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee.
Now this is the male part. The virgin love thee. Go ahead and read.
Draw me. We will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine.
Go ahead.
The upright love thee.
Look, didn't Jesus say you cannot come to me unless the Father draw you? He said, draw me. We're going to run after you. He said, look, your love is better than wine. The upright love you. The upright. That means the people that are righteous, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
I am black.
Now this is what he's replying to them. I am black.
But comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. As the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Go ahead.
Look not upon me because I am black.
Go ahead.
Because the sun hath looked upon me.
When the last time somebody turned black by laying in the sun? Only thing you're going to get a deep tan. If you lay there too long, you're going to get some skin cancer. But this guy's used as a metaphor. And look what he said. Go ahead and read.
My mother's children were angry with me.
My mother's children was angry with me. Put a marker here. We're going to see who it is whose mother's children was angry at him. We're going to come back here. Keep your marker here. Now let's go into Psalms chapter 69. Back right up to Psalm, the 69th chapter of Psalms. Because this is the way you have to find out things, because the Lord said he was going to teach us line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little and there a little. He can do it so can't nobody go in and mess it up. So he wrote this thing by the hands of a whole lot of men, sisters and brothers, and it all coincides. That let me know it have one dictator. Psalm 69, and we're going to start at verse 6, because this is about Jesus, and Jesus really laid it on the line for the Father to save his creation, So Jesus is asking him to bless those and don't forsake those that come to him for his sake, for Jesus' sake.
That's right.
Verse 6, go ahead and read.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake.
Let them that wait on you, O Lord, don't let them be ashamed for my sake. And the ones that seek you, don't let them be confounded for my sake. Go ahead and read.
O God of Israel. Because for thy sake.
Because for thy sake.
I have borne reproach.
I have borne reproach. I mean, I went through it. I let people spit on me.
That's right.
They plucked off the hair. They slapped me around.
That's right.
Same people that I created, that's your commandment. For I have borne reproach for thy sake. Go ahead and read.
Shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren.
I become a stranger unto my brethren.
And an alien unto my mother's children.
Who is his mother's children? Israel.
That's right.
He become a stranger to him. And then said, I become an alien to my mother's children. That's why I said in Songs of Solomon, my mother's children was angry with me. And we're going to pursue this just a little bit, sisters and brothers, but go ahead and read.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
And the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
And the sins of them that sinned against you have fallen upon me. Now let me show you that this is Jesus that's talking here. Let's go into Romans, the 15th chapter. Romans, the 15th chapter. Because what we have to do is do it like this, sister and brother, because you've been lied to so much from the pulpit. And you believe people without getting any proof. If you went to college and believed and didn't study, where would you think you'd be now? You'd fail your course. Romans chapter 15. And we're going to read verse 1 first. Romans chapter 15. Romans chapter 15 and verse 1, read it.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves.
So those of us that are strong, we should bear the infirmities of the weak, help the weak, and not to please ourselves. Skip down to verse 3 and go ahead.
For even Christ pleased not himself.
For even Christ pleased not himself. Go ahead.
But as it is written.
But as it is written.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me.
The reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. That was Jesus talking in Psalm the 69th chapter. Right. That was Jesus talking, sisters and brothers, in Songs of Solomon. He is the one. Before he became Jesus, they called him Yahweh or Jehovah. But he said he come in his Father's name. And the world don't even know that. So now we know who his mother's children are. That was Israel, sisters and brothers. And he was alien to him. It tells you in St. John, the 1st chapter, he came to his own, and his own received him not. And they still are kicking against Jesus, even this day. Israel is the only one that kicks against the name of Jesus. Now let's go back to Songs of Solomon. And then you'll find out why he couldn't help us. We refuse to be helped. Now, Songs of Solomon, just read that whole 6th verse again, and we'll run into the last part. Songs of Solomon 1 and verse 6. You should be there because I asked you to stay there. Go ahead and read.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun had looked upon me.
Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of other vineyards.
My mother's children was angry with me. They made me keeper of other vineyards.
But mine own vineyard have I not kept.
But mine own vineyard have I not kept. Let's see who this vineyard is. Let's go into Isaiah, the 5th chapter, and who it belonged to. Isaiah chapter 5. Because he said, they made me the keeper of other vineyards, but mine own vineyard have gone unkept. Isaiah 5 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard.
I'm going to sing the song of touching my well-beloved to touching his vineyard. This is the love story continue. Go ahead and read.
My well-beloved hath a vineyard and a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof.
Go ahead.
And planted it with the choicest vines.
Uh-huh.
And built a tower in the midst of it.
Go ahead.
And also made a winepress therein.
Uh-huh.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
He planted this vineyard and gave it everything it needed. I mean everything. Didn't leave nothing. Because this is talking about his laws and his statutes. Mm-hmm. He said, but when I looked for it to bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. Go ahead and read.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
All you have to do is go back and see what God did for Israel when he brought them out of Egypt, gave them everything. Go ahead and read. So I want you to judge between me and my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
What could have been done more to my vineyard?
Nothing. Go ahead.
That I have not done in it. Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
In other words, when he looked for righteousness, he saw sin. Go ahead and read.
And now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
Go ahead. Now, not other people. I'm going to tell you what I will do. Don't you know, sister and brother? No, I said about 40 years ago, I had a great big blowout in Washington Park when I told them that Satan worked for God. Oh, no, he don't work. He worked for himself. So if Satan worked for himself, y'all would be dead. I can show you that Satan, when he go upside your head, he is sent or either given permission by God. I can read that to you. So now, all that's befallen us, the Lord said, and now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Nobody else did it.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
And it shall be eaten up. And break down the wall thereof.
He gonna do that. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be trodden down.
Go ahead.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged.
Go ahead.
But there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
He ain't gonna let nothing good come up on this vineyard. Nothing. Who is this? Go ahead and read.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts
is the house of Israel.
Is the house of Israel. Finish that.
And the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression.
Go ahead.
For righteousness, but behold a cry.
So that's why the Lord said, they have made me. Who have made him the keepers of other vineyard? Israel has. Right. From misbehaving, sisters and brothers. He said, I gave you good laws and statutes. I gave you everything you needed. It wasn't good enough. So let's make sure that we understand that this vineyard is the whole house of Israel. Because we need to understand that, sisters and brothers. Let's go into Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. Jeremiah chapter 2. Because we used to go on and a preacher read 2-3 verses. No, he don't read that much. Read a half a verse and then tell you what's on his mind. I ain't got that much on my mind. So it would be over with in about 5 minutes. Therefore, we're going to read this book. Jeremiah chapter 2. Jeremiah chapter 2. And people get mad. Like when I go to a funeral and I tell that the person in that box, that's all of them in the box. They mad. No, they going to heaven. But you looking at them.
Right.
How is it that you can't believe what you looking at? God said, dust thou art, and to dust thou shalt return. You don't believe that, but then you get in the cars and they follow the ambulance to the graveyard. And you see them put them in the ground, but you said, they in heaven. Something wrong with that. Somebody is not paying attention, sister and brother. They don't read. Now look at Jeremiah 2 and start at verse 4, what the Lord did. 2 and 4. Go ahead and read.
Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain?
The Lord asked the question, what have I done to y'all? What sin have I committed against you, Israel, that you done walked away from me and gone after nothing? That's what vanity means. You find all this nothing on Sunday. Talking but ain't saying nothing. Pay attention. They should rearrange it to, what do they call it? Motivational speakers. That would fit. But go ahead and read.
Skip to 19.
Skip down to verse 19, brother. Verse 19. Verse 19. And go ahead.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee,
Look what he said. He said, thine own wickedness shall correct thee. Go ahead and read.
and thy backsliding shall reprove thee.
Go ahead.
Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, said the Lord God of hosts.
He said, look, your own wickedness is going to reprove you. So if you've done an evil thing, you walked away from the God that brought you out of bondage. Go ahead and read.
For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy band.
Go ahead.
And thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot.
He said, I broke your yokes, I brought you out of captivity, and you promised me that you ain't going to transgress against me. But while it was coming out of your mouth, you was transgressing against me. Like I told you not to eat any pork. You would sit out at the table with pig on it and bless it in my name. People don't know how serious that is. You understand? Go ahead and read.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine.
He said, yet have I planted you a noble vine.
Wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Ain't that something? He said, I planted you a noble vine. Altogether righteousness. How have you degenerated to the sinners that you are now? How? Skip down to verse 30. Verse 30 and go ahead.
In vain have I smitten your children.
He said, I whoop your children for nothing. It don't do no good. Go ahead and read.
They receive no correction. Your own sword had devoured your prophets.
Who devoured the prophets of Israel?
Israel.
Israelites devoured their prophets. Your own swords have devoured your prophets. Go ahead and read.
Like a destroying lion. O generation, see ye the word of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Have I been a wilderness unto Israel?
Go ahead.
A land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are Lord's, we will come no more unto thee.
Now I see it every day. I even see it now. I look at TV and I see these young Hebrews out there talking crazy. We are Lord's. They jump up telling me we are kings and queens. God didn't say that. He made you a kingdom of priests.
That's right. That's right.
How you going to be a king and a queen and you don't have no sovereign nation that you're attached to?
No money in that.
We've fallen into self-brainwash.
Right.
Why? Because you have degenerated, sisters and brothers. Right. And he said, you're the one that killed your prophet. Your own swords have devoured your prophet. The Lord know that, and I'm going to show you. And he said it. Let's go into Luke, the 13th chapter. Luke chapter 13. Because sisters and brothers, all here. It is all here. And nobody's paying no attention. Because everybody have their own take on what the Lord said. Well, you know, then you listen to the scientists talking about evolution. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. What do you mean evolution? The Bible said the Lord God formed you out of the dust of the ground and breathed into your nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Let me take that breath and smother you. What's going to happen to you? You're going to be a dead soul. Then it said, dust out, until dust you're going to return. Where they going to take you, dead soul? To the graveyard. And plant you just like the word said. But man like stuff that ain't no evidence for. But the Lord said our own sword have destroyed our prophets. Nobody else. Luke 13, and start reading at verse 34. Luke 13 and verse 34. Okay, go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killest the prophets.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets.
And stonest them that are sent unto thee.
Go ahead.
How often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not.
He said, look, how often I would have gathered you. Now, this is Jesus talking.
That's right.
Then if Jesus just started at Mary, how many times he had to gather Israel in the first place? Only in this generation. And it didn't last for 3.5 until he was 33 and a half years old.
Right.
But he was talking about the time before he came in his Father's name. Because you would not be gathered, look what's happened to you. Go ahead and read.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And verily I say unto you, you shall not see me until the time come when you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
So because you will not let me gather you because of your misbehaving, so now your house is become desolate. Right. Somebody else is in your house. And you will not see me until he say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. That's not going to happen until he busts that sky the last time at his second coming, sisters and brothers. Because he got mad with his people. And he's forsaken us for the time being. Let's go in the 12th chapter of Jeremiah. But we don't like to deal with reality. We are a people that loves pretense. Everything is something. You know, and then you're going to get off in the spookery. The Holy Ghost this and the Holy Ghost that. The Holy Ghost is going to teach me. I said, show him to me. I want to see him. You wouldn't know what the Holy Ghost is if it crawled up and bit you on the foot. Jeremiah chapter 12, and we're going to start reading at verse 7. 12 and 7. Okay, go ahead.
I have forsaken mine house.
Uh-huh.
I have left mine heritage.
Go ahead.
I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemy.
Now the Lord said, I've done that. He said, I've forsaken my house. I've left my heritage. I've given the dear beloved my soul in the hand of my enemies. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest.
Go ahead.
It crieth out against me.
Uh-huh.
Therefore have I hated it. Mine heritage is
Wait a minute. You mean God can hate?
Yes.
He said he hated Israel. Therefore have I hated it, because it cried out against me. It don't like nothing I say.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird.
Uh-huh.
The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the
Ain't
field.
this something like a speckled bird? The birds all around them are against her. You don't fit nowhere. Don't nobody want you around. You come in, everybody going to run to the four winds. Come into the community. There goes the community. Speckled bird. You ain't white, you ain't black. You got speckles on. They don't know what you are. You don't know what you are. You done had so many names. All you think, the one thing is, here they come. Go ahead and read. What verse?
We're in the middle of 9.
Got 9 at the top. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird.
Uh-huh.
The birds round about are against her.
Go ahead.
Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field.
Uh-huh.
Come to devour.
Go ahead.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
So these are the beasts of the field, come to devour people and also ministers. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. Go ahead.
They have trod my portion underfoot.
Uh-huh.
They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
How have they destroyed them? It's because they won't teach them, sisters and brothers. That's what was it in the beginning. The priest, it tell you that the priest did the office for hire. The prophet prophesied for money. Ain't nothing changed. So the vineyard is destroyed. Go ahead and read.
They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me.
Uh-huh.
The whole land is made desolate, because no man layeth it to heart.
Go ahead.
The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even unto the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace.
So because of what these people have done, so the whole land is desolate. I'm going to bring the sword upon the whole land. Therefore, ain't nobody going to escape. Nobody. And the Lord did that down through the generation. But we're going to bring it down to the Roman generation. Let's go into Luke, the 19th chapter, when Jesus was walking the earth. Jesus is the one that told all this prophecy, so he knew what was going to happen. And it's rough when you know something that's going to happen. That's why the Bible said with the increase of knowledge is the increase of sorrow. Because you start to see what's going to happen, and you be trying to warn people, but ain't nobody listening. And you know it's coming. And I, for one, know that it's coming. Because I followed prophecy down through the generation. I know about all the empires from Nebuchadnezzar, before and after Nebuchadnezzar, down to the European common market. I knew that these people were going to come up before they came up, because the Lord called it. I know that Russia is going to be the power and the ruler of every nation east of the Euphrates River. The governments don't know that yet, but I know it. And he put it together, ain't it? Grab Ukraine, everybody looking the other way. Why? Because the Lord called it, sisters and brothers. It is going to be like it's going to be. So when he said what was going to happen to us, it happened exactly the way he said. Luke 19, and start reading at verse 41. 19 and 41. Okay, go ahead.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes.
Ain't that something? When Jesus was come up on Jerusalem, he just started crying, sisters and brothers. If only you had known the goodness what you're supposed to have. But now it's hid from you. Now, only thing you have coming is destruction. Go ahead and read.
For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
So the day is going to come when your enemy is going to surround you, and they're going to cast a trench around you and keep you in on every side. Go ahead and read.
And shall lay thee even with the ground.
They're going to flatten you. Go ahead.
And thy children within thee. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
And he said, he's not going to leave one stone upon another. Let's show you when this took place. We're going to look at this prophecy here. We're going to Atlas of the Bible. You can find this in all history books dealing with the Roman Empire, sisters and brothers. Now we're going to read this from Atlas of the Bible, pages 201 and 202. Read it. Go ahead.
Revolts against Rome. In 68, the Roman commander launched a methodical campaign to isolate Jerusalem. The overthrow and suicide of the Emperor Nero brought operations in Judea to a temporary halt, as Vespasian prudently withdrew to test the imperial winds.
Go into the history. You find out about the Emperor Nero and Vespasian. So Vespasian saw that emperor, that's the one, Nero, the one that played the fiddle while Rome burned. Anyway, he went back because he died. Go ahead and read.
Eventually, he himself was declared emperor.
Vespasian was. Go ahead and read.
Sailing for Rome in the spring of 70, he left his capable son, Titus, in charge of the campaign against Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
The walls enclosing the temple and the upper and lower cities were the most formidable barrier of all.
So when Vespasian went back to Rome to see if he could become emperor, he gave his son Titus, a Roman general, a charge of the campaign against Jerusalem. So he tell him, take him down. Go ahead and read.
Postponing an all-out assault, Titus turned to starvation tactics.
See, Titus was a smart general. He had them big walls around Jerusalem. He knew he was going to lose a lot of soldiers. So what he did, we ain't going to attack. What we're going to do is we ain't going to let them bring no food in. And when they got hungry, they're going to have to try and come out. They're going to come out to us.
That's right.
What happened? Go ahead.
A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege. But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem completely with a wall of their own, made of earth and some 5 miles in circumference.
Didn't the Lord say he's going to cast a kiss around it? So they surrounded Jerusalem, sisters and brothers. The Roman did. Go ahead and read.
From the outset of the siege, those attempting to get through the encircling lines have been caught and crucified.
Now look, people think crucifixion was just for Jesus and the two thieves. The Romans had used crucifixion for years because it was a horrible death. Jesus, they just put spikes in it, but what they do is they tie you up on the cross and you can't move, and then the buzzards and the vultures and everything would have at you. And the crows and the magpie picking your eyes out. A horrible death. And you wear it around your neck as representing Christ. That's a Roman death symbol. If you're going to have a Roman death symbol around your neck, you may as well put a hypodermic needle and an electric chair around your neck. Symbols of death. So now, they crucified the one that tried to bring food in. They caught him and crucified him. Go ahead and read.
Sometimes the daily executions reached 500. The crosses were never bare.
They was crucified up in the 500 Israelites a day.
That's right.
This is recorded history, sisters and brothers. That's why I said the cross was never bare. Finish it.
Inside the city, starvation and disease claimed a mounting toll. Bodies filled the streets and were stacked in houses. Thousands of corpses were thrown from the walls into the valleys below.
That happened in 7 A.D. to your ancestors. Romans did that. Go ahead and read.
The surviving rebels made a last-ditch stand within Herod's palace. The battering rams resumed their rhythmic work. When the legionnaires at last broke into this refuge, they found only corpses.
Look, sisters and brothers. I mean, they stacked bodies in the walls, in houses, threw them over the fence. Some did survive. We're going to show you this. The survivors are your ancestors. Let's go. But Jesus warned these people. Said, look, this is going to happen. So you get out of there. Let's go into Luke. chapter 21. See, Jesus, the Lord always tell you what's going to happen. Then he tell you what to do to escape. But if you ain't listening, it don't help you. See, when people get in trouble, the drummers start coming down, they want to cry out, Lord, have mercy. I did have mercy. I told you not to do that. If you had listened to me, I would have had mercy. You rejected my mercy.
That's right.
So look what he said now. They're going to do all this, and we just read that the Romans did that in 70 A.D.
Right.
Luke 21 and verse 20. So this is the warning. Get out of there. Go ahead and read.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
That's the Romans army. Go ahead and read.
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains.
So when you see the Romans army start to surround Jerusalem, then I want you to know that the destruction of Jerusalem is near. So them that are there flee into the mountains. Go ahead and read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
Go ahead.
And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Trying to sneak bread and food into them. Go ahead and read.
For these be the days of vengeance,
Uh-huh.
that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
The prophets wrote about it. Go ahead and read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Go ahead.
For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
So now they're going to be great distress upon this land and wrath upon these people. Go ahead and read.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Go ahead.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
Uh-huh.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Who are the Gentiles? The children of Japhet, sisters and brothers. They're running it. And it's going to be trodden down because we're going to be scattered into all nations. And Jerusalem going to be trodden down to the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. In other words, the time that God gave the children of Japhet, which we call white people or Europeans, God gave him a time to rule, just like he gave Shem a time to rule, just like he gave Ham a time to rule. All of them dropped the ball. So until this time is up, so Jerusalem's going to be trodden down by somebody else, not by us. So Titus went in there and took us out.